Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is June 10, 2023, and we're going to be talking about the visa bulletin again. But this time it's not for family preference. This time it is employment-based preference categories. So I'm going to scroll down all the way to the, in fact, before I do that, let me open the visa bulletin link first. We're going to scroll down to the employment-based. And there were a few changes that happened for the employment-based preference categories. There are 5 of them, and there were some movement that happened from June to July 2023. So if you have the I-140 petition currently in process, this video is for you. But before beginning, I'm going to mention I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in this video and in these videos in general on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State, which we will be looking at. If you want to learn more about the employment-based preference categories, like I said, there are 5 of them. We're not going to get too much in details about the preference categories, but if you do want to learn more, I will put this link right here from USCIS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services official government website. In the link of, I'll put the link in the description of this video, so you can check it out and learn a little bit more about these employment-based preference categories. And I will be doing in the next couple of weeks a video on I-140, specifically the process of what does it entail, the whole process. So let's get back to the July. I'm gonna open June visa bulletin here in the first tab right here. I'm gonna scroll down all the way to graph A, and the same thing I'm going to do here for the July, the most recent one. So the first things first is that you will see that there are 2 graphs. There's a graph A, final action dates for employment-based preference cases, and there is also graph B, dates for filing of employment-based visa applications. I will briefly explain what the 2 graphs entail and which one you will be looking at. Depending on which stage of the process that you're in, you will be looking at either graph B or graph A. But we will start with graph A because it is the graph that shows us the full scale, full length of the process, all the way from the priority date when the case was received by USCIS and accepted, all the way to the availability of the immigrant visa. So if you want to see the whole length of the wait time of the backlog, you will be looking at the graph A. So here we have July. Let's take a look at the first preference category. You can see employment-based categories are listed at the very left column, and then you have the chargeability areas. So there's 4 countries that have separate chargeability areas. It is China, India, Mexico, and Philippines, because the numbers from those countries, the immigration numbers, are higher than the rest of the world, so they have their separate chargeability areas. And then literally all the other countries are in all chargeability areas. So let's take a look. July 2023, we have first preference category, all chargeability current. June, still current. China is from June 2023 is February, so I'm gonna select this so you know where to look. China is February 2022. No movement looks like for China in July. Let's take a look at India, February 22, and then Mexico, Philippines current, Mexico, Philippines current. So as you can see for the graph A, final action dates, first preference category, there is no movement whatsoever whenever it comes to China and India, but everybody else is current, which means that once the case is approved by USCIS and then documentarily qualified by the NVC, the immigrant visa is already available. That's what C means. It means current. Let's move now to the second preference right here. We're looking at these dates right here. So let's compare them with this is June 2023. Let's compare them with July. So we have all chargeability. No movement for all chargeability. Let's take a look at China, 08 June 19, 08 June 19, again no movement. India, 1st January 2011, again no movement. Mexico, 15 February 2022, no movement. And the Philippines, 15 February 22, again there is no movement. So let's move on to the third preference category. Let's see if there is any movement for the third preference. Okay, so all chargeability area, June 1st, 2022. Aha, so there is a movement. So it looks like it moved from June 2022 to now February 2022, which is, let's see, so we got June, and then in July we moved to February, which means that, let's see, between February and June there's March, April, May, so roughly 3 months. So roughly 3 months advance, which is good, which is definitely positive movement. That's the kind of movement that we want to see. So now, instead of doing the June, they were able to take care of June. In June 2023 Visa Bulletin, they were able to take care of May. They were able to take care of March, I can go back, and got all the way April and March, and got all the way to the February 2022 now, so they're processing this date. And to give you an example, if you're not familiar with how to read the Visa Bulletin, this is the date, the priority date when the I-140 was accepted by USCIS. So if your priority date is in, let's say, March 2022, and you're looking and you're in the third preference category, all chargeability, and you're looking and you see February 2022, so you are March 1 month roughly away from the availability of the immigrant visa. Same thing if you have February 2023 and right now they're processing February 2022, it means you're 1 year away from the availability of the immigrant visa. Again, I don't want to get too much into reading the Visa Bulletin. I will assume that you are familiar with how to do it. But if you do have any questions, just let me know in the comments below your preference category, your priority date, your chargeability area, and I will give you an estimate in one of my videos where I answer the questions. All right, moving further to China. China in June, we had April 2019. Still April 2019, no movement for China, unfortunately. India, 15 June 2012. Wow, what is this? Look at that. So third preference, India, we have 15 June 2012, and now we have 1st January 2009. Wow, that is some really, really strange movement here for India. So about 3 years. It is really strange, I guess, maybe perhaps, and there's the same thing for other workers as well, for India, this drastic change, and I haven't seen a change like that before. That's the whole June 2012, so that's like almost 3 years movement from June to January 2009. So now they're processing cases from January 2009, but they were processing the cases from June 2012. So I'm assuming maybe in that 3-year period, there weren't many applications and they were able to get to the cases from 2009. So now they're processing the cases from 2009, which is, let me think about this, June to 2012 and January 2009. Wow. So no, that actually is, I am not, it's not a positive move. This is definitely a negative move because it went back and it's supposed to go forward and it went back. And the same thing for June here. It was in June 2022 and now it's doing February 2022. So it's not good. It went back. So it went back 3-4 months for third preference category for all chargeability. And it went back like 3 years for India. So something is definitely up with the third preference category. If you are in the third preference category, let me know please in the comments and let me know how your case is moving along, especially if you're from India. That would be really helpful. I'm gonna do more research on why this happened and why there was such a drastic movement back. I'm assuming, the only assumption that I have about the situation is that possibly there was a lack of an update for a very, very long time. Maybe partially caused by pandemic. It is possible. And then finally they updated it and now it's showing a much, much older date than it should. So that's definitely not good because that's now we're going 3 years back, which is crazy ridiculous. Okay, let's move further to Mexico. We have June 22, February 22. So again, we went back. Not a good move. So scratch my comments about positive move. That's not a positive move. It's a positive move that if we went to the dates in the future, not the dates in the back, because then we're moving further. We're processing further date instead of going backwards. Philippines, June 22, again February 22. So there is about 3 months movement. Another thing that I can think of happened here. You see consistently between this for all of them except India. There's a 3 months roughly moving back in time, and in India it's 3 years. So I am suspecting possibly just a typo mistake. Instead of 3 months back, they put 3 years back for India. Possible. I would not scratch that possibility. That is definitely possible. Maybe typo. So we will see in August 2023 visa bulletin if that has been corrected. We will see. Hopefully, because that's really bad. Okay, so let's take a look at June now. June 2023 visa bulletin for other workers, which is still a third priority category, and you can learn a little bit more about other workers if you want to, get in the details. But if you are in this category, you already know, so we're not going to concentrate on this too much. So we have January 1st, no change for all chargeability, no change for China. There is for India, the same thing happened, the same thing going back roughly 3 years. For Mexico, no change, and for Philippines, no change. So something is up with India. I wonder what happened. But I'll do my research, and if you know, please let me know in the comments below if you are in India chargeability area and you're familiar with it. Okay, so force preference category. We're moving to this graph right here for the force preference category. Let's see, I'm going to select it. Doesn't look like there's any movement. September 2018, so no movement at all. Same thing for certain religious workers. Same thing for certain religious workers, no change there at all. And then fifth unreserved is current. China is September 15, India is April 2017, and it's the same thing here as well, and everything else is current, which means once you are approved by USCIS, once NVC documentarily qualifies you, immigrant visa is already available. Okay, now you're probably wondering, so if A is showing me the whole length of the process, what is the purpose of the graph B? Okay, so graph B is the dates for filing, and it's showing us when the NVC portal fully opens up to become documentarily qualified. So once your I-140 is approved by USCIS, they transfer the case to the NVC for further processing for you to become documentarily qualified. And if you're dealing with a visa backlog and it's not current, and you're waiting in line for the availability of the immigrant visa, the NVC portal is usually locked up until a certain time closer to the availability of the immigrant visa, when it opens up fully so that you can become documentarily qualified. Graph B shows us when the NVC portal is supposed to open for you fully so that you can start your documentary qualification process. So that's really it. So let's see if there's any changes. First preference category, we have current for all chargeability area. And then we got China, let's see, June 22, India, June 22, and then current. So no changes for first preference. Let's see for June 2nd preference. December 22, July 2019, India, May 12, Mexico, December 22, Philippines, December 22. So no changes. Let's look at the third preference category, and here I am thinking we should see some changes because there were some changes for India, some drastic changes for India, and it might answer our question if it's possible that it is a typo. Okay, so all chargeability area, May 2023, all right, pretty current, I would say, really close. China, June 2019, May 23, June 2019, India, August 12, Mexico, May 23, Philippines, May 23. Okay, so as you can see, here, India didn't change to 2009. It's still showing 2012, which means that people that have the priority dates back in August 2012 and are in India chargeability area, their NVC portals are now opening up as of June, July. They are now becoming open where they can start their documentary qualification process. Maybe they have not updated this one yet. But 3 years going back is just a little bit of too much. It sounds like a typo. Honestly, it sounds like a typo in a graph A. I hope that it is. But again, we will see in August. what's going to happen with the visa bulletin. Okay, moving further to other workers. We have all chargeability February 2020, no change. January 16, no change. India, no change. Mexico, no change. Philippines, no change. All right, so no changes for other workers. Force preference category, let's take a look at that. So June, October 18, all chargeability. Okay, October 18. China the same, India the same, Mexico and Philippines are all the same. So no changes. And looks like for the rest, if you compare the rest of the everything, there is absolutely no changes. In fact, looks like the whole graph B have not been updated at all. So it might not be such a bad thing, because it might be for India specifically. That's the only concern that I have about the visa bulletin in general, is for India. And then some of the categories, they went back a few months, not a big deal. But 3 years going back for India, that is a little bit of a concern. So I'm sure a lot of people from India right now are asking questions. And if you are, if you are in the third preference category and you are from India, and you have a concern about this going back so drastically, I would recommend submitting a case inquiry with the NVC, and I do have the video on how to do that. It's very straightforward. You can do it on this website right here through Contact Us link at the very top of this page, and reach out to them and let them know. And maybe they, if it is a mistake, maybe they will fix it. Hopefully, it is a type of mistake, because it seems really, really bad. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. If you have any questions, like I said, if you need estimates, just tell me the priority date, the chargeability area, and the preference category, and I will be able to give you some rough estimates. Or if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below. I do have on this channel where I go through comments and answer one by one. And right now we are on volume 114. Obviously tomorrow is going to be volume 115. So in the next few volumes, I'll definitely be able to answer your questions. So thank you very much for watching. As always, appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.